You guys seem to really like my, mobile caster of Legion video that I did on Arcane Mages explaining how Shimmer works, so I thought that I would bring to your attention the chain reaction caster of Legion, and kind of explain how the Fire Mage damage works. I've tried out a lot of different specs throughout my channel. You've seen in the past couple months, I've tried Flame Cannon, I've tried Greater Pyroblast, I've tried the Flame Strike spec, but this one right here I feel like is the best, probably the most standard spec you're going to see in Legion for Fire Mages, and this spec honestly is pretty crazy. Like, Fire Mages overall are very, very, very strong, for just like what they can do and how much damage they can do and how like consistent it is. Like, it's not exactly relied on proccing and relied on getting these crits like in previous expansions. And for those who don't know what Fire Mage does in order to do damage or have never played Fire Mage before, Fire Mage is reliant on getting critical strikes in a row. Okay, so a critical strike will allow you to have this little heating up proc, which gives you the chance if you get one more heating up proc, which means like one more crit in a row, so two in a row, you're gonna get an instant cast Pyroblast, which is your main damage source, right? So there's so many factors that go into this class because of how I feel like it's really well designed, honestly. But again, if I get two of those critical strikes in a row, I'm going to get a instant cast Pyroblast, in which I can do damage from there for those, just like the very basic level that people, that have never played Fire Mage before and you're thinking about trying it out in Legion, right? So with all that being understood, sorry for Skype noise. With all that being understood, this class has a lot of more consistency, and I want to explain that to you guys real quick before we jump into arenas and before you see it actually happening. I want you to understand how it works. So there's a couple factors with all of this, and we're going to talk about Phoenix Flames and Fire Blast really quick. Fire Blast is Inferno Blast. It was just renamed back to Fire Blast. Fire Blast is always a critical strike, okay? It's an instant cast with 3 charges, with the Flare Up talent, which is what I use and what I recommend. It gives you 3 charges of Fire Blast, so you can have 3 instant cast Pyro procs, if you use them correctly, just with Fire Blast, okay? And then with Flame On, which is a 40-second cooldown, it grants you 2 charges of Fire Blast immediately. So you can have 5 Fire Blasts immediately, okay? So that means you can get 2.5 Pyro Blasts immediately if you just use Flame On and Fire Blast, okay? Now, one change that's happened in the most recent build for Fire Mages is the Phoenix's Flames ability is your artifact talent. It's basically just a Pyroblast, right? That splash, it does a little bit of splash damage. It has a 45-second recharge. It's like your instant cast Pyroblast, but it's on demand. And it's your artifact talent. It's these little flame orbs that circle you. This indicates how many charges of Phoenix Flames you have, and you can have up to 3 at one time, okay? And these recharge every 30 seconds, I believe. At least it was 30 seconds. I believe it's still 30 seconds. So, it's a 45-second now. Okay, so it's a 45-second recharge, for one of these Phoenix Flames things, and these are always a critical strike. So think of them as a Fire Blast, okay? Think of it as you have 6 Fire Blasts available to you in PvP, and then you have Flame On that gives you 2 more Fire Blasts, so that's 8 total Fire Blasts, 8 instant cast, on demand, critical strikes that allow you to get Pyro procs, okay? And here's the overall picture coming together, and this is going to be with your main damage ability called Combustion. Okay, so Combustion's like one of the most iconic abilities in Legion, or in WoW overall, and it increases your critical strike chance by 100%, for 10 seconds. And this is obviously a dispellable buff, so you can get dispelled or spell stolen. However, this ability allows you to use, say, you can get 1 Pyro proc, and then, or like a Fireball, you could start it off with a Fireball, get heating up, use Fire Blast, cast Pyro, it will give you a heating up proc again, and you can just use your Fire Blast and Pyros together, and you can have upwards of like over 10 Pyroblasts in a row consistently and make it happen all the time with this talent right here called Firestarter. Now, Firestarter means that you can use your Combustion and cast Fireball, and every time you cast Fireball, your Combustion will reduce by 20% or 20-second cooldown. And it's only a 2-minute cooldown, so that, with my calculations, that's 6 Fireballs until you get a free Combustion again, which is like so easy to do. Like, check this out. So I can actually Combustion, cast Fireball, 1, 2. See my combustion timer reducing? 3, 4, 5, 6. So combustion just ran out, and now it's off cooldown again. And I'm just casting Fireball. Isn't that crazy? Like, I could do a really, consistent combustion and keep these Phoenix Flames going and keep these Fire Blasts going and keep the Flame On going and have a never-ending string of Pyroblast and really never have to cast an arena. Now, this gets even crazier. So, like, even, that itself, that class design right there is crazy, but I want to explain something that's even crazier, okay? So, you're doing a lot of critical strikes, right? Just like overall, just a lot of them in a row, so you're rewarded for that now. And that is with this Pyretic Incantation artifact ability, which means that every time you critical strike in a row consecutively, you increase your damage power by 5%. Every single time. So it goes up to 5. So you can increase your overall damage dealt by 25% when this is at its max power. So that means every spell that you do, every spell, so if you have Combustion up, so every spell you do with 5 stacks of this and Combustion up will have 25% increased power. And not only that, you can also have Phoenix's Reborn, which means that whenever you have Ignite ticking on targets, it has a small chance for the Phoenix Flame cooldown to be reduced by 10 seconds. And this procs all the time. Like, you get free Phoenix Flames all the time. Like, it's crazy. You just never run out. And it's just an overall chain reaction if you know how to use it, and if you know how to use your abilities to your advantage to keep your Pyroblast moving, to keep your combustions moving, to keep your overall just damage flowing out. If you learn that, you will be rewarded. And I think that that's an awesome design. I think that Fire Mage is just really, really just doing very well on the beta. I think that the design is brilliant. I think that all of it makes a lot of sense, and I think that if you use it correctly with Flare Up, with Firestarter, and your Combustion, and your Phoenix Flames, to use it efficiently, you will see a solid return, and you will see yourself doing well in BGs, doing well in arenas. And let me show you just what I mean. So if I Fireball and Combustion mid-cast, I get a Pyroblast instantly, Fire Blast, Fire Blast, and then I can Phoenix Flames, and then I can Pyroblast, and like I've still got 2 Phoenix Flames. I have a Fire Blast coming off cooldown, and then I will also have a Flame On that generates 2 more Fire Blast, and that doesn't even take into account the Meteor damage I have, the Living Bomb damage I have, and also the Phoenix Flames that were being reborn as I'm doing those crits and as the Ignites are taking on this target or multiple targets. Like, it's just a crazy amount of damage, and I think that this class is probably going to be the best Frost Mage, or the best spec over Frost Mage and Arcane Mage, just because of what it can do. So, now that I've shown you kind of how this works and I've explained this a little bit, I think that now we need to go ahead and jump into the arenas. And I'm not going to be able to commentate over this because of just how fast Fire Mages have to use abilities to be able to do well. Just like with all the instant casts. So I've downloaded this add-on that you can see on the bottom part of my screen here. It actually shows what spells I'm casting. So if you're really curious of what spells I'm casting, it's right down there for you. And like what's the word? I guess like just overall sequence of spells. That's down there for you. So let's go ahead and jump into these arenas, guys, and I will see you in just a couple minutes.
The sun has blazed my shoulders, it's hanging my shadow from the vagaries of my past. It's a story that's so familiar to anyone who's seen and done the same. So I'll explain. My life, I could walk through every wall. I was 6 feet tall, outstripped them all, but hanging my shadow from the rope around my green. I'm asking, please remember, what you want isn't always what you need.
Alright guys, I hope you did enjoy those arenas, and I do definitely recommend you check out Fire Mage in Legion. It's going to be a super strong class with the current, unless it changes, but I don't really foresee it. I think that it will be good to go, just how it is. And I cannot wait to try this out Legion. I will definitely be playing it, and I cannot wait for Legion to come out in general. So yeah, definitely give a thumbs up on this video if you did enjoy it or you did learn something from it, and you can also subscribe to my channel for future Legion videos. I've been putting out so much over the beta, been covering it as well as I can, and bringing my insight and my opinions to the channel. So yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Cartoons out.